So hi guys, in this video we will be working on a chatbot that works very similar to ChatGPT, but it doesn't go down half of the time. So what I mean is we'll be developing a WhatsApp bot that's very similar to ChatGPT. Basically, we'll be using GPT 3.5 as a backend, so the response are going to be quite similar. And one more thing, if you are using GPT Plus, it costs 20 bucks, right? But if you have the GPT OpenAI GPT key and you use GPT 3.5 Turbo and you check your limit, your usage will be less than a buck. So uh, it's also smart to use that. So what we'll be doing is we'll be using a WhatsApp bot, using WhatsApp business platform and create a bot connected to a Firebase server. So you do need to go to Blaze account for Firebase, but it's never going to cost you more than 10 rupees, or I don't know the conversion of that. So 10 rupees is less than a dollar as well. So and you will never hit the free you will never go beyond free tier, so it will basically cost you nothing, to be honest. You need 2 million invocations for your Firebase function, and what I mean by that is I will explain in the video, but trust me, it's going to be super cheap for you. And one more thing, so we will deploying our code to a Firebase server, and in the back end we'll be connecting it to OpenAI GPT 3.5 Turbo. So you do need the API key for that. If you don't have yet, you can just join their waitlist. They will get back to you in a week. And if you are doing this for the first time, they will give you a free tier of like some amount, and you can use that. So you don't even have to pay for that as well. So like follow along for this tutorial, and hopefully you will learn something new today. And if you do, make sure to follow me on LinkedIn and subscribe to my channel. So yeah, so let's get to the video. Okay, so let's get started. We'll start by creating a WhatsApp bot, and what we need is we just create a folder, and go inside that folder is where we're having all our code. It makes code more structured, so I think it's the first step. So what we need to do right now is we need to set up a Firebase account, upgrade to Blaze account so that we can use Firebase functions for deploying our server, and then set up a basic node server using Firebase, and just that our like basic API, the base one, can work. Like, okay, so let's do that. First of all, let's go to console.firebase.com and then create a demo app. So just call it demo. Should be easier to spell, apparently not for me. So let's continue, and let's continue, see everything to default. Yep, default account Firebase, create project. It takes like 2 to 3 minutes on an average. I've just fast forwarded it, so yep, power of editing. So let's set up a web app. It doesn't matter, you can choose anyone. So just call it WhatsApp bot. Web app is basically if you are like hosting your services, I think. If you like the hosting of an app, then it's preferable. But like for our case, anyone will work. So now what you can do is you can just do a Firebase login, and I don't have that, so just install it using npm install -c Firebase minus tools, and there you go. It's installed now. So let's do a Firebase login, and redirect to your web page, and you can, if you don't have account, you can log in using Google, and I have logged in. So let's do a Firebase init, and don't use caps lock. So what we need is we need to select Firebase functions, but I have not yet upgraded to Firebase functions, so I will just upgrade it and select plan. I've already set up everything, so if you don't have, you have to like add in your card, and then you are good to go. So it's one of a basic step there. So yep, I have upgraded. It's that simple. So now I can just go to my terminal, and here you can see I can get started. So it's basically Firebase in it, and you select Firebase, the service that you want to use from Firebase. So I want to select use functions, so I'll just do that, and it will basically do is it will set up a boilerplate code for me to be able to access Firebase. So I have already set up a app on my Firebase, so I just use existing project, and it will ask basic question like what language you want to use. I will be using JavaScript, no linting because sometimes it can cause error, and I'm currently doing a tutorial, so I don't want to deal with that. And yeah, I do want to install all the things, but if you like say no, you can just do npm. I think it will work. And here you can see index.js is the basic code that the Firebase will give you. So we don't need any of it. So we will start by setting up a Firebase. We will start by setting up importing all the things that we need. We need functions like we need Express, which is a framework for developing Node APIs. Uh, Also, like I use cross-region resource sharing for some reason. You don't need that. I don't think in this case you need that, but I added it anyway. So what can we do? So CRS, like if you have like two different APIs and you want to interact with one another, you add CRS. I am not doing that in this case, so it's optional. You can ignore this step. Then we import Express. We have to initialize it as well. So let's first do import. So here require Express, and then initialize it. App equals Express. Also app equals Express. So yep. I forget to fast forward this part. Neat. So just set up app.get, and here I have fast forwarded it. So it will just pass in basic arguments, request and response, and get an arrow function. Then just do response.send. That's how it has started. So I'm just sending a JSON formatted response. That's how it has started. And what I will do is I will just export the app. So export.app equal to functions.http.onRequest, and this pass in your app that you want. So yep, here I think you're done. What you can do is like inside the function and do npm run serve, which is like similar to npm start, and it will set up your start your server locally, so you don't have to like deploy it all the time to cloud. So that's pretty neat. You can check the link, API link from here, copy and paste it into your Postman or just in your browser. Works fine if you're just using GET request. So here you can see response server started, and yep, everything is working. So now what we'll do is we'll just create a route folder. Why? Because like it will, if you don't, it will make the index file very long, hard to debug, and it doesn't look good. So we will create a basic index.js, so which we can use to access all the route files. And we're only using one route file here, response.js, and we'll have two APIs, a get and a post. So let's set up a basic get API, same code. We're using response.send code okay, I think. So yep, and this export is to select module.export, and we will like import this in index.js. So what we can do in index.js is we can pass in an extra like parameter or whatever you want to say, so that we can distinguish between each file. So let's first import our Express, like the response router that we exported from the response.js file, and Express the router from the Express. So now what we can do is in the router we can tell it to use this particular router from response, and when we are using that particular router, we have to pass in /response in our get request as well. So now I have exported it too, and then I can just use it in my index.js using app.use routes router, and it automatically import everything. So it's pretty good. So if I now run it, it should work. I added CURLs for some reason, I don't know. So let's see if it works or not. So let's first check if the base API is still running or not, or did we like broke our code. So yep, it works. So now let's try it. /response here, and it's working. So now let's set up our WhatsApp bot, going very quickly, so pay attention. Now first just log in and add your credentials there, go to your business account and create an app. So just select other, because we are not doing anything with Facebook, we want to use one of the other services. Select business as your app type or whatever you want. Next select just enter any name. I'm just going to say demo, or you can do anything with that. Select WhatsApp, and yep, everything is set to default here. So you can just go to API setup, and API setup you will get everything, your temporary token, or you can just send your message from here as well. So just send message and you will receive it on your bot basic congratulation message that hey, good job, you set up your WhatsApp bot. Now let's get started. So let's start with setting up a code. So what we do is we set up a service folder, and inside that we will add a code. So here you can get your temporary token. It expires every 24 hours, 23 hour time, I think. And what you're going to do is we can paste new constructor and set up a test function that check if get request that will be coming from WhatsApp bot, is it the same, is it an authorized request. So if it matches your WhatsApp token, then it's good. So we will check in our in our router that if the test pass, then send the hub challenge. Otherwise send a 403 like okay, you are not authorized. So what business platform does is it checks the server, that if the token matches, then it should return the particular hub challenge to the WhatsApp business platform. If it does, then we have basically connected our WhatsApp business platform to our Firebase server. So if everything works, we will be connected and it should be good to go. But we also have to pass in the header with the same WhatsApp token, so you remember that as well. So here we have our like authorization, and we'll pass in the token that I just showed you. I think I have to like first copy paste it from my response.js file as well. So let's just fast forward it and add in WhatsApp token. Yep. So if the server passes, then what happen is, like when we post a message, it's a post request, but WhatsApp business platform does it, it's a get request. So we don't have to worry about that. Other than I can just now write a post request and handle everything there. So here we have it. Set up everything. Everything should be good to go. One more thing is with Firebase function is like your code get operated in real time. So if you have like doing an run serve, you don't have to like close or rerun your code again and again. You can just save it and it will reboot it, and you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to install node 1 or anything for that. So that's pretty cool. And I made a mistake with the return type. I usually code in Python, so I made a typo, I think. So I think the code looks okay to me now. If I run it, there should not be any issue. So if I make a request, it should return a false because I'm not passing anything right now. So let's test it. Let's just deploy it to a server. The command is npm run deploy. It takes a while to like deploy to a cloud server, so that's why we don't like continuously keep pushing our code to the server. Yeah, as I said, it takes a while. Okay, it's done. So it will also show you the API that you need to use. So here it is. Just copy it and check if our PC API is working or not. Send, and fingers crossed. Okay, it works. Now what I need is, let's go to configuration and pass in everything. Pass in a callback URL /response. Remember that. So, and the token here. If it verifies it, it will refresh it, and you will see something like this. Yep. So now it's verified and I'm connected to my Firebase server. So yep, first step passed. Now let's move to a post request. So whenever you message the bot, it's a post request. So we need to add a way to handle those messages. So what we'll do is just create our basic router post, pass in the request and responses argument, create our arrow function like usual, and what we need now is, we don't have ChatGPT right now as a backend, right? So we can just respond anything like, hey, the services are not yet started. So what we need is, we need to extract few things from the payload that from the request that we get. Okay, so what I can do is I can just pass in the request, filter out the phone number from where the message has come, and the message. So what you can do is, so for now, like here what I'm doing is I'm just assuming I have written a function, and I will just pass in the request in that function. And if I now like it's an async function, so I have to pass in, I have to make this function asynchronous. That means we have to wait for a response. We cannot just skip it. If you don't do it, it will just skip it and you will see nothing. So that's basically it doesn't really matter what you are sending. So let's write a handle response function, and response function will have your request, and we start by like filtering out all the thing that we need. So like I'm also like formatting it and not using a formatter or prettier for some reason. So that's bad. Okay, so let's get a body from the request, and then the little formatting. So let's get message. So it's from val dot entry. No, entry. It's an array. So you get the first one. It's up to you how you want to handle it. Changes 0 dot messages dot text dot body. Like there will be a list of messages. From that you can select anyone you want, and text dot body. Yep, my memory serves me right. Okay, so here we have the message. Next thing we need is a phone number. Remember, phone number is important. You don't want to have your code that is listening for messages and is replying to itself. You can get stuck in that loop, let me tell you. I have been there, so if you get stuck, don't feel bad. And I also made a typo, like in the message line, in line 20, it's changes, not change. I'll fix that later, a few bucks later. So yep, messages 0 dot and just get no, I did minus one. Like, just get from. Yep, you have a message and from. Now what we can do is we can check if the phone is not equal to the bot. Okay, so if it's equal to the bot, don't reply it. So just let me just enter my bot's phone number, and this dot bot number equals the number, and just write this dot bot number. Now that I think of it, I should just write like a file and paste all the credentials there and just imported it. Hindsight is 2020. So let's create a payload. Message product WhatsApp. Let's print type individual. I think 2 is the phone number that we receive message from. Type is text, and the text preview URL is false. Also made a typo with text. We'll fix that later. And AI is not integrated yet. Okay. I wonder how long it will make, how long it will realize I'm a typo. So like this just type the header content type authorization is that similar where this WhatsApp token, and now we need to make a request, a post request to send the message. So let's install Axios for that, and let's import Axios. So const axios is equal to require axios, and okay. Now we need a URL, a paste WhatsApp message URL that you can actually get from that API setup. You can just copy the URL from the curl request, and yep. And if I set response equal axios, oh, let's make the function asynchronous first, because we have to wait till the message is sent and then respond. So axios dot post our URL, then our data, and then our header. Header is equal to header, like it's in JSON. So header. Yeah. Now let's add it in a try catch block. See, shortcuts. Catch an exception where if something went wrong, just return false, return true. What are you doing? Okay, I think just for logging and to see if I messed up somewhere. So internal server error 500. And just return everything here, and return everything here, and yep. I also have to add in that I have to subscribe to messages. So just select messages, and you're done. So we can do is we can use express.json, because the payload is in JSON, and you have to the patient you have to parse the payload, and the payload is hard to read. Like it's an object, so you use JSON.parse sometimes, or like both the ways can work. You can do any of them to able to read the messages. So here I think it will fail. I'm not even sure why I'm showing you, because now you can see the issue with change in line 24. Oh, I didn't saw it finally. And okay, now let's start with OpenAI URL. Okay, so let's start with the basic OpenAI URL that you need, and the OpenAI key. So let's create a function called generate messages. Okay, so what we need is a menu for our Burger King bot. So what I'm working on is a Burger King bot, and what I will be showing you is how using ChatGPT you can basically hit like APIs, and how you're going to do that. So I'm just giving it some context to OpenAI that hey, you are a bot and you are going to help the customer with their order basically, and like when I ask you to show them what you will show them. If they ask you to add an item, you just send them a message, and also a role, and then there's and the next I'm just passing in the message to the customer. Keep everything like temperature, stream, max token to default here, and header, which is similar to WhatsApp token, and just passing the OpenAI token, and a post request to the OpenAI URL. So if I now just log in the message that I get, or I can return it. I'm doing both. Okay, so now let's like wait for the reply from the OpenAI and pass it in rather than passing the default message. And if everything is right, it should work, which is never the case. Your code is never right. So let's do it. What is my current order? So basically what happened was like my footage got corrupted and I basically did a whole tutorial, and now I'm redoing it. That's pretty neat. So let's say I want a cheeseburger and see what it responds with. I mean, it should respond with okay, how many you want, and that will be our segue to the next part, which is context. So what we can do is we can save our chat on Firebase, right? They have this thing called real-time database, and what I can do is I can just store all my messages on Firebase. So it should reply with the message like, yeah, okay, how many cheeseburger you want, and yep. But if I apply with 2, it doesn't know the context. So now what we need to do is, let's go to Firebase console and copy our credential from project settings. Okay, we need that to access our real-time database that we'll be needing to store our chats and later orders. So let's go to service folder again and create a new file, create 2 new files, firebase.js and firebase.db.js. Yup, like that. So now let's move to firebase.js, paste our credentials here and export our app. Also, I need to change how they have imported initialize app. That will give me yeah, that's the right way to do it. Power of editing. Nice. Okay, now let's go to firebase.database.javascript file and let's import a database for accessing database, reference for defining the path, push to add chats, on value to get chats, set to override, and remove to delete. That's all the imports that I need from the database. And now let's import app from the Firebase that we have just created. And yep, that's all the imports you need, I think. So let's create a class called firebase.database, and let's in the constructor function initialize our database. So we'll just call this database. Now we need to read our chat, so let's define a path. We'll be storing a chat, so inside child's directory, and in that inside we have a phone number, and in that we will be pushing all our messages. So now we need to read those. So it's an async function, so we will be returning a promise, and the promise will resolve when the on value loads all our chat from Firebase to database. So that's what I do. On value I have passed the reference, and I will get a snapshot as a result. So I did that as an argument, and then loading it in a data variable, and then iterating it and pushing all those messages in message list and returning resolving that. If something went wrong, just reject, and should have added a try catch as well. So I think I will add that later. I'm sure I have added that later. So no issue. Also I made a error with reference, so the reference also needs a database as an argument with a parameter, so I forget to add that. I will add that later. But in add2db I'm just pushing the role and the message that I get. So if suppose you message that you're always user, and your message will be what you have written. If bot replied, I have to also store that as well, so the bot know what it had replied previously, so it has a better context to what you're talking about. So we need both those chats to be saved. We'll be storing it inside chat, then your phone number, and that will be doing that. You can also add dates as well, more data, more metadata, but for now I think this will work. This will be super. So let's go back to our responsive JavaScript file. You can let's import Firebase database. I don't think I have exported, that's why I didn't recommend it. That's okay. Let's initialize Firebase DB class, and here, yep, I definitely forget to import. So import Firebase DB dot, yeah, that's right. So let's export that. So more exports our Firebase DB class. Yep, that should work now. Yep. We need to pass phone number and the message plus the role. Yep, assistant. User. Yep. The message is from the user, and the reply will be from the assistant. So yep, assistant type is you. Yep, it's case sensitive, so beware of that. I'm not sure actually. Just be safe. Just to be safe. Okay, so yep, that we need to now load the chat. So let's also create the Firebase DB function in generate messages. Initialize the object and call the decall read orders, read chat. So chat list and await Firebase TV dot read from DB the phone number and yeah, we forget to pass phone number as a parameter as an argument and function. We forget to add that argument, so let's add that here. Yep, just need to add a wait now. So let's log the chat list, and you can see I've actually not yet added the chat list in my data for some reason, but here you can see I have fixed the issue that I was having. This dot database, and should be also an argument here, should be also a parameter here. And so yeah, so in the add to order, so I think we fixed it. So if now you deploy or you run it locally, it will save the chat most likely. So for good measures, I've added a cat function. If there's nothing there, if you have an empty database like this, probably give an error. Also in the database, you have to modify these rules. You basically can create a session or login or provide certain UID in your payload or something like that, such that you don't give access to everyone. Right now, if you have much configuration key, you can also make you can also access my database and use it as you want. So that's why it will show me a warning hey, are you insane? Even not tell you you're insane, it will just tell you hey, you really want to be so open. So now you can see here it has shown that it's empty list and it has added the message there. Okay, that works. Okay, let's now change it to 2. It still does not have the context because we have not passed the chat actually. So if we go there, you can see, I'm sorry, but I don't understand your request. Obviously we have not passed our chat, so dummy, you don't know what we're talking about. You clearly have no idea what we're talking about. So let's spread our chat list. So yep, now if we delete this and we make the same request, the function will successfully, so it should work. It takes time when you reload the function, so it I think it's something like cold start or something, but when you deploy it, it's not that slow. It's actually pretty instantaneous. So as well, good. Up here you can see, here's the final order, 2 cheeseburger. Is there anything else you would like to order? So yep, we are on the right track. Now we need a way to define what APIs to it. When a user places an order, it should add it in a different path in the real-time database, and if the user wants to cancel the order, he should be able to do that. So as well, so just copy paste it right now. So we are pushing it. We should actually set the order, to be honest. Change it to change push on the order and return, and read order is also going to be similar to return. Only change is going to be the path that we are referring to. So here we have orders, phone number, and 10. We are reading the order. What we can also do is we can create a transaction history and save all the order as a list and return the last placed order, because that will be placed at the bottom. So you can just do this get the last item and you will know what your last order was, or something like that. I mean, it's up to you how you want the bot to perform, to be honest. Okay, this looks fine to me now. Now let's create a function that will basically decide what API to hit, if it want to add the order or delete the order or get the last order that user placed. How will you know that? So we'll pass in an argument as an intent, which basically will tell which basically will have certain keywords using which we can know that hey, this was the user's intent. So basically if I say hey, finalize my order, I want to check out, that means that's whatever I've said so far, that's my order. So yep, it should hit add order API, add order function in the Firebase TV. If I say yeah, hey, I have second out, let's cancel my order, I'll think about something else. I don't want that or something like that. So it should delete. It should call that delete order function. So how will we do that? We need another. We also need to like call OpenAI again. So first, let me show you what we're doing here. So if intent includes 1, finalize order. If it intents include 2, delete the order. If intents include 3, get last order, fetch last orders, fetch the transaction history of orders, and else basically I'm just talking anything like, hey, I want a burger, then I'm saying like I want a diet coke or something like that, and basically it is just at this point adding those in my order. And when I say finalize my order, it will have like a one burger, one diet coke. When I finalize order, it should have that. So that will be 1, otherwise it's 4. Okay, so we have as return null. So what I'm basically doing is I don't want to reply with messages from chatbot. If I know which is particularly asking like, hey, uh, add the order, I should just reply finalizing order. And maybe in my Firebase GP I can also like make another post request to my WhatsApp bot and send a message like, hey, your order has been finalized, because currently I'm using present continuous. So I should have like a something like, hey, your order has been placed. You know how Zomato gives you a notification that your order has been accepted, something like that. We can also do that in the future bots. So here I have like another payload. Again we will be making another request, but this time, hey, 1, if the indicate you want to finalize my order, if the user wants to delete the order, if user wants last orders or anything like that. So what does the user want? So I'm basically asking chatbot as a system that it's your job to predict what the user want. So I will just pass in the user's message to that data here, and we don't need chat list here. The same header, but we'll make the same request like we made initially. So I'll just copy paste it here and it will work. Yep, and I'll just delete chat list here. And what I can do is, if the response is null, then I should like return the first message that I got, that this where I'm currently returning this return response dot data choice message dot content. I should return this. So I have to like wait for what API had responded. Like if API had responded with null, then I'll just return the response that I initially got. Otherwise I'll just return one of the 3 choices that I get, like finalizing order, delete order, or loading history. And here is it. If message is equal to null, then just do that. Otherwise else return message. Yeah, basically that's it. That's our code overall. That's how wishing should work, but there are still changes that need to be made here to make this work. So like we forget to pass parameters here. So add order need like phone number and order, and I later decided that I will not work on the transaction history right now. Like, think about it. You have a current order and you have a transaction history. The transaction history can only be made when your order is fulfilled. You need a second party, like you need someone on the other hand to delete the current order. Like we can have an function and an event listener that will listen for deleted chat lists, and we can just whenever the order is deleted from current order, we can paste it in the transaction history. There are lessons like that, but for now you then need to create a separate app for that or something like that. So I can have dummy data as well, true, but currently I'm not doing that. So the third intent is line 33 is kind of useless now. So I just pass in phone number and the message and the order. when I go to delete order, I will just pass the phone number. That's all I need. Yep. It's basically it. Also for load order I need phone number, but I'm not working on that. To be honest, I can actually I can just like, if there's a current order going wrong, I can ask bot like, hey, what's my current order, and it should reply with, you should load it from database, and if there is nothing, you should reply there is no current order. That can work. So here is a delete order function. It's similar to it's like just remove the reference, so we'll just delete all the subfiles of that reference. Also, one more thing, chat GPT or GPT-3.5 have this limit of 4,000 characters, so you cannot go beyond that. So do remember that you have to delete your chat some way. So one thing that I find out is whenever user place an order, you can delete its chat history after that, because it has finalized the order. You don't care about what it had said previously, so just delete it. And here you can see, when I said place my order, it was able to place my order. If I say cancel my order, it should be able to delete my order. And yep, it has deleted my order. Now if I say finalize my order again, and run it, yep, it is able to identify that. That's pretty good. Cancel my order. Like if you give that these commands again and again and again, that's kind of bad. Like you're giving chatbot a context here, so it's kind of like pre-training. Then you fine tune a model in ChatGPT, you do the same thing. So delete the chat whenever user delete, cancel, or make a new order. Just delete the previous chat. You can just use remove chat list and pass the phone number as reference and just delete it. So here what I'm basically doing is just checking if everything is right. I think that's right. Yep, I did find that the context had given had some typos and was not that much accurate or brief, so I changed it a little because it was getting us weird. Like here you can see, I was just asking you to add a burger and it gave me 1. It should not. It should give me 4. So that's why I identified that there was still some issue. So now if I say add a burger, it's giving me 4. So if you have like a bot that's not giving like what you want, what you expect it to perform, you can just give it a better context, try with new things, like it then will probably work, should work, to be honest. So if I now say finalize my order, here it is, finalizing your order, and here's my order. How beautiful it looks, thanks to ChatGPT. Now you can like delete it or check if the cancel order works or not, to be honest. But hey, let's try again. Let's have some fun with ChatGPT. 3, 2, 1. There it is. Let's deploy it and check if everything is working with our bot. It takes some time to upload. 3, 4, 5 minutes. Sometimes it takes a lot of time. So hi, it should be 4. This one should be. And hey, hello, how can I assist you? It's still ChatGPT. You can talk how you want it. How you chat with ChatGPT, it will have the same effect. So if I say cancel my order, it's saying deleting my order. If I say finalize my order, it will say finalizing your order. Yeah. And yep, that's basically how you can like build a bot that does the same things. I have uploaded my previous code on how I envision the code to be. There I have added chat, transaction history, and everything else. So if you want that, I'll add the link to my GitHub in the description as well, so you can just copy paste or like take it as an inspiration and make it your own part. Maybe you want something else. So yep, I hope you learned something new today, and if you have any question, put in your comments, else if I can respond, and like if I even know what the issue is. So yep, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.